Okay. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris. This is the Tiger's Den. Let me just rearrange some dashboard related stuff. So, I had been over at the house yesterday. If you guys were watching the channel, Ben himself did a live stream of Magic the Gathering's new ban list and all that hoopla. Afterwards, he casually decided he would mention to me, let me just check the volume here. He casually decided he would mention to me that Riot Games is doing their own digital CCG. So I thought I would take this opportunity to talk about it because I believe this is going to be something that I dive into pretty heavily. So for those of you who are not familiar with Riot Games, they produce a little something called League of Legends, pretty much the largest video game on the planet. And if you are into MOBAs, great. I feel like at this point in my life, I'm just kind of, I don't want to say past them. I've gotten everything I need to get from the genre. And I guess I've never felt that way about card games, digital or otherwise. So I just wanted to talk about a couple of things that I think make the Legend of Runeterra as a game really interesting, and then things that I think Riot is doing with it that make it more appealing to me than jumping into, say, Magic with Ben or Hearthstone. If you haven't played Hearthstone yet, why would you not just jump into that? Well, I'll talk about that. So first, I want to talk about this dynamic alternating combat. And I'm just going to play this little clip here.
In this strategy card game, it's creativity and cleverness that determine your success. Victory comes down to one simple question. What's your move? This is Legends of Runeterra. And these are the champions. Champions enter battle are some of the most powerful cards in the game.
Lead us to victory!
And each champ has a unique mechanic to become even stronger. But to reach their full potential, you'll have to play smart and look for the right opportunity to level them up. But if you can pull it off, the transformation is game-changing.
Gain new abilities to crush your enemies. Turn the tide of battle with a swift combo.
They will no match.
Even break the rules and claim a new way to win. Every champion comes from a region of Runeterra, where allies of all kinds can join them in the fight. If you need soldiers to reinforce your army, Demacia stands ready. When your plan calls for striking hard and fast, the warriors of Noxus are legion. And for survivors that will outlast everything else, look no further than the Freljord. Each region plays differently and offers their own set of strategic advantages. Savvy players will combine cards from more than one to wield the strengths of both. Seek out Ionia to bring agility and flexibility to your fights. Add Piltover and Zorn to assemble a plan piece by piece. Or summon the Shadow Isles to unleash ruin upon your fragile, mortal foes. The paths to victory are many. Get creative, because how you build your deck is completely up to you. But it's not just what you play, it's how you play it. At its core, Legends of Runeterra is all about the choices you make and the risks you take. Here's how it goes down. Each round, players are either on offense or defense, indicated by sword or shield. While only one player gets to attack each round, both get to play cards, which means every move matters. In Legends of Runeterra, you alternate actions with your opponent. If they play a unit, you get to play something of your own, like a champion. Of course, the reverse could always happen too, so think carefully about every card you play. By the time it's your turn to act again, the state of the board could be completely different.
Many legs, not enough mustache.
Even when to attack is a critical decision. Do you play a unit first to increase your ranks and risk your opponent adding a powerful defender? or attack with what you have now, forcing the fight, but reducing the impact. And sometimes, it all comes down to the spells. Cast a spell outside of combat or as a reaction to the changing battle. When your allies are set to clash with the enemy, you could bolster them with a quick buff. In response, your opponent may sneak in a shady move. While you consider a counter of your own, keep in mind, every action has a reaction.
No one belongs in chains!
As the magic maneuvers start to pile up, Oracle's Eye can help forecast the outcome before you fully commit. Once the chain of action-reaction is complete, the sequence goes off.
I've been hiding my light too long!
Victory or defeat, each battle brings experience and progress. Choose which region you explore first and unlock the cards that call to you, changing regions as often as you'd like. As you advance, you'll collect new allies, spells, and champions. More than enough for multiple decks. You'll also come across wild cards, which can be turned into any card you want. No guessing required. Alternatively, use the shards you've earned and the coins you've bought to acquire cards from the store. How you get cards is your choice. Once a week, the vault opens. Experiment with an abundance of new cards to discover your playstyle and craft your strategy. As your collection grows, so do the possibilities. And the journey is just beginning. Soon, you'll be able to embark on expeditions and draft a deck as you go. Overcome as many opponents as you can with an evolving set of cards. Or truly test your skill by taking your strategy into ranked and see where you stand among the best players in Runeterra. Where you go from here is up to you. From the champions to the combat, the regions to the reactions, every choice you make is a chance to be legendary.
Okay, so I had a lot of thoughts while watching through this, and first off, I'm gonna say, yeah, I've pre-registered to play. I've already been invited to one of the beta test events. I'm a longtime Riot player. I played League for way too long. Let's just say way too long. And here's the first couple of things that I'm gonna say. This is company related. This is not actually game related. I trust Riot to support and balance this game. Yes, I know League has balance issues still, but I do trust them to balance and support this game a lot more than I think a lot of people, even pre-Hong Kong and whatnot, have trusted Blizzard to balance Hearthstone. Their Hearthstone missteps are fundamental to the game's design, and I think when it comes to Riot's game design, they're really good at refining when they need to. Now, for those who watch the channel, Ben and I are both board game designers, so we're also familiar with Riot from the tabletop community, where they made a game called Mechs vs. Minions. It used the same universe and a lot of the same well, actually all the characters in Mechs vs. Minions are from League of Legends. So you had some crossover of characters. I believe it was like 4 in the game. And that game is really well balanced, really fun. It's a cooperative game, which is different for Riot as well. I trust them to balance and keep this game fresh, keep it interesting, and predominantly keep it balanced. So one of the things that I wanted to say, again, talking to Ben yesterday about Magic and now about this, with the ban lists in Magic, I really like that Riot's principal design core for this game, according to them and their lead designer, is that there are no dead cards. I know every card game tries to say this, and Riot hasn't necessarily succeeded with every patch and balance fix, that there are, say, no dead champions in League. But I do think that we see in League there are casual-centric champions, and then there are ranked champions. And I think it's okay to have all of those things. So when I say I trust them to design this game, and I think that Legend of Runeterra is going to be, it's going to have a more diverse meta. What I actually mean by that is that, yes, you'll probably still see metas develop in ranked play. But I think in casual play, you are going to see interesting mixes of champions that maybe don't see ranked play. And so, yeah, that part just really excites me. When you watch the video and the preview, the gameplay trailers, I think that just popping back into this, I think one of the things that's really intriguing about this, too, is the play style. We all know that Hearthstone, most of the digital card games in the space offer a you go, I go, and that's great. The functions perfectly well for those games. But one of the reasons that Magic the Gathering has been around for, over, I believe it's 25 years now, is, in my opinion, the core design of instant abilities and the ability to play cards from your hand that have, say, flash and react to your opponent. And so the idea that this game is going to function on an attacker and a defender, and that you're allowed to play cards during my attack phase, I'm allowed to play cards during your defense phase, I think that's brilliant. I think that's brilliant. And above being brilliant, it's engaging. And it's going to be one of those things where when you look at a game that is essentially geared to be an esport, this is one of those games that is geared more. Because it's more engaging to watch than your standard fair digital CCG. This is a game that is going to appeal to a wider audience because something is always going on. Someone's always reacting to what you're doing. You're always reacting to what they're doing. And that's great. The other thing that they stress, and it's not just, so I played the gameplay trailer at the beginning of what I wanted to be just me discussing with a camera this game and why it's got me so excited, is the game state. And they stress that, and that's one thing that you can really see right off the bat. The game state is completely and fundamentally changed from turn to turn. Because this turn I'm going to be the attacker. By the time I'm the attacker next, the game state is possibly 100% different than it was the last time I was an attacker. And so I think this lens, this type of game, this game design lends itself to a more diverse meta because a lot of what you're doing is reactionary, similar to playing Riot's League of Legends. A lot of what you're doing is reactionary rather than simply, okay, you have a 2-2, I have a 2-2, I'm okay making that exchange because I want to keep the board clean. And so, yeah, I think that alone makes this open for a more diverse meta. The other interesting part, too, is that it is effectively you playing League as an entire team against another team because you're really crafting a deck from multiple champions. And I know their big stressor is that, having about 6 champions puts about 6 viable things built into your deck. You have essentially, 6 play styles into your deck. And that too creates a really diverse meta when you look at the sheer roster of League that they can draw from, while at the same time they're building this world out. They're doing something that they haven't done in League, because League is really good at making endearing characters, and characters that we want to play as, characters that we want to care about. This is doing something where it builds out the world. And the other thing I want to say, I really despise digital card games because I like having physical ownership of things. But at the same time, the idea that nothing I buy here is invaluable to the game. Because we've all played, I don't want to say we've all played Hearthstone, but we've all played a digital CCG where you get a pretty much useless 1/1 card. That the only way you're going to use it is, it's literally the beginning of the game being launched, beginning of the meta. There's no other purpose for this card other than here's one of 257 unique cards. Yeah, so they talk about the weekly vault, They talk about the chests and the cards being pulled, and that's great. A lot of this stuff is very, again, talking to Ben about this, a lot of it is very standard to a digital CCG. You're gonna have that because it's no different than Riot making League of Legends after Dota. There were a lot of things that they took from Dota. But of course, just like other companies, they're going to refine, they're going to iterate. One of the things that really has me excited is this. This has me really excited. Yes, you can play versus AI. Yes, you can play against other players. Yes, there are tutorials available to you, but this expedition mode, embarking on expeditions where it is draft. Let me tell you something. As a longtime physical Magic player and pretty much every other CCG that's come out, very few things are exciting as a draft in which you have no useless cards. So if Riot can keep to that design principle and that philosophy, I think draft for this game is going to be literally above any other digital TCG and what they've been able to accomplish, because that's it. When you play Arena and Hearthstone, I keep coming back to Hearthstone because I think that is the biggest competition to this game is Hearthstone. Magic, sure, we'll give them some, but I feel like they're two different games, two different audiences, because Magic is its own audience. It is its own game genre and type at times in an argument. If this has a healthy draft, think of Arena and Hearthstone and how you can get incredibly shafted by just, I'm gonna be Druid and I'm gonna just get garbage time cards. If there are no dead cards here and all cards are viable, that you can mix any real build of champions and create a viable strategy. If that's true and Riot laser focuses on that principle, draft and expedition in this game are going to be groundbreaking principles for the digital CCG field, and I think it's a killer. I love the idea. Yeah, your cards your way. Earn cards for free as you play or buy. This was brought up to me. Someone mentioned wild cards here. This is really nothing new, though, is it? Wild cards. Magic the Gathering Arena has wild cards that you earn. And Hearthstone has, of course, the crafting system. I believe Magic has a crafting system as well. Yeah, this is nothing new. So people saying like, oh, yay, they're giving us wild cards. Listen, I'm in love with this game already. But let's not go in with blinders on. This is not some new thing that Riot made that's needs to blow your mind. It's in a lot of CCGs. It's good. It's good to have. I'm not saying don't put it in. I'm just saying it's, let's not throw them a party over something that everyone else has already done. What they're saying though with the skill above all, and this is another thing from the design interviews, and I'm going to be doing more discussion videos about this as we bump up to launch. But one of the things that skill above all means for this design team is that they do want the more skilled player to win. And Hearthstone, you see a lot of RNG decide certain swings. We've seen mana flooding and mana screwage mess with even the highest ranked pro players in Magic the Gathering. So I'm curious as the game develops how a deck of cards you're really going to be able to keep that skill above all. Because, I mean, if you're saying like 9 times out of 10 the most skilled player is going to win, and that 1 out of 10 times someone just got a bad draw, great. But that, again, is nothing different than most games like Magic. The more skilled player builds a great deck, and if they're drawing, even suboptimally, a lot of the times the best player is going to win. I do like this. Combine, adapt, and experiment with frequent new releases for every region in an evolving meta. Okay, so this is the other exciting part to me. Is as a former and longtime League of Legends player, the idea that I'm going to be able to explore this world of League of Legends that we've played in for so long and really delve into that's exciting to me as well. But it's equally exciting that they're going to be working to adapt the meta constantly, and not in the way that, say, Blizzard does with Overwatch, where it's, you know, what's broken and how do we unbreak it while breaking something else. Like I said, I trust Riot a lot more in terms of balancing and tweaks than I do, say, Blizzard, or even at times WotC, Wizards with Magic. These preview cards, again, I feel like there are fanboys to this game already, and it's not even out. Someone sent me a preview of this card specifically and said, "Oh, this card is gorgeous." The art in League of Legends, 100%. Above and beyond anything that Hearthstone produces. And I played World of Warcraft for the TCG, which is where most of Blizzard's art for Hearthstone came from. And I agree. The art in this game is huge. I'm not really seeing anything from these that inspire that it's incredibly different. You know, you have attack, you have durability, you have a cost. The one thing that I really like, though, is, and we're going to talk about this here next, I'm going to have an entire video breaking down this specific feature, because it is unique to literally every other game we've just been talking about and bringing up here. But the level up feature. You stun or recall 6+ units. Boom, level up. So he's still, you know, similar stats. He goes from being a 4-3 to being a 5-4. But you'll notice when you stun or recall an enemy, he deals 2 to it, right? When you stun or recall an enemy, he strikes it. So rather than just dealing 2, he's swinging for 5 on them. That is a really interesting when to level. You obviously want to level him up pretty much as fast as possible. But it's interesting to me that now level ups on the champions that are in your deck, this is something in a current digital CCG. If you guys are familiar with, I believe it's called Warhammer Champions. It's done by PlayFusion, the same people who do Lightseekers. You have 3 champions on that field, and those champions can level up in the game. But not like this. This is a much cleaner, simpler, I think smoother gameplay-wise objective to get these characters leveled up. Warhammer has a lot of rotating cards, almost like gears, and it's really interesting, really unique, but I think here it's just, yes, I think it's just done better. The idea, and this is awesome to the digital space, the idea that, yes, I can have him out in play. Quick attack's great, his ability's great, but suddenly I level him up and boom. Now I've got enhanced stats, now I've got enhanced abilities. That's everything I think I've wanted personally in a digital card game for God knows how long. And they've I know, honey. They've got a couple of champions on here, like Jinx, love this. Quick attack, and she wants you to just play tempo, blow your whole hand, right? She 4-cost, 4-3, blow your whole hand to level her up. Boom. Start a round, draw 1. First time you empty your hand each round, she creates a Super Mega Death Rocket in hand. Like I said, just the mixing of different champions in this game and their level up, how you synergize those level ups, maximizing their level up side. This game is blowing my mind for a meta, and I don't think there's any digital CCG that I've been this excited for. And like I said, I'm a huge World of Warcraft fan, so Hearthstone was exciting to me. But it was exciting to me in a way where it was like, oh, neat. A card game I don't need to have massive card boxes and storage for, and I don't need to actually pay money if I don't want to. Lux, okay, so here's the previewed 5-cost champion. She's a 5-3 right off the bat with barrier, level up. When she sees you cast 6+ mana spells in a round, boom. Attack, create a fleeting final spark in hand. She becomes a 6-4. What was she, 5-3, 6-4? Yeah, so their stat boosts are pretty minimal, but their ability changes are, I mean, like I said, if you go back to Yasuo, like that pop, he he strikes it, you're talking about the difference between just shucking him for 2 and swinging 5. That's pretty huge. And of course, he can get buffed by other abilities in game. Obviously, Jinx is massive, right? Quick attack, she's a 4/3. That's okay. Empty your hand, though. Play a lot of low-cost cards. Suddenly, she's giving you extra draw. And if you're playing out your deck equally fast with her leveled up, now she's pumping out some death rockets into your hand. And like I said, then you've got Lux. I absolutely love this level up. She has barrier. You're going to be casting spells anyways. Why not cast enough to pop this level up, turn her into a 6/4, and now you've got Final Spark in hand and a better version of Lux. That's beautiful. Go ahead, honey. That's beautiful. And then this is a really interesting one too. Darius, 6-cost champion, right? 6/5, level up. The enemy Nexus has 10 or less health. Overwhelm, great keyword in this game. Boom, pops to a 10/5. No bonus ability. He's still got Overwhelm. He just, yep, here's 4 extra attack to swing for. Yes, please. I love that. That's great because you're going to be dealing damage to their Nexus anyways, so I feel like Darius works in almost any deck that you want to just have a high unit swing. Brahm is probably, I was talking to a buddy about this earlier today, he is probably the most intriguing to me because it fits control perfectly. You see the 2 keywords on him, and then of course when he survives 10 damage, he's going to pop the level up. Now he's got 0 attack, but he's a 3 cost. That's great. Flip that. Now he's giving you the Mighty Poros every time he survives damage. And he goes to a 0/7. That's an interesting build. I want to make a deck around that specifically. Thresh, another one. This is actually, I think, tied for my favorite out of the previewed champions. 5 cost, 3/5. Challenger, and when an enemy dies, heal me 1. Of course, when an enemy dies, he heals 1, and seeing 3 enemies die is going to level him up. Okay, well, yes, you're going to be doing that, and boom, levels up to a 4/6. When an enemy dies, he still heals 1, still has Challenger, and the first time he attacks, summon a champion from your deck or hand to attack. That's some tempo right there. That is an easy way to just put an insane amount of pressure on the person you're playing against. These are the only champions that they've previewed here, but if you're watching their development streams, they've teased and shown not both sides, but some of the other champions that are going to be in the game at launch. So, like I said, I'll be doing a video about all the champions that they've discussed, and then of course, yeah, combining the regions. They've got some previewed cards up here. I will say I'm not 100% sold on this basic card design, but I wasn't 100% sold on the Hearthstone design either, and I think the Hearthstone design has been really, really good for the game in terms of inviting new players in. But what I want to encourage you guys to do, truthfully, is I want to encourage you to go to playruneterra.com. I want to encourage you to go to that upper right-hand corner, and I want you to pre-register for the game. Because one of the things that pre-registering does when you're talking about a company like Riot is it tells Riot how many people are really interested in the game, and that tells them how much time, money, and resources they should invest in. So if at all during this video anything that I've talked about sparked your interest even a little bit, it's free to pre-register to play. If you're a League of Legends player, this is a no-brainer. If you're a CCG lover, I feel like this is a no-brainer to just jump in for free, because unlike Artifact or whatever it was from my man Richard Garfield and and Valve, I don't see this having a $20 buy-in or whatever in a really confuzzling meta. So yeah, everything about this just speaks to me in a way that, like I said, no digital TCG has done before. And I want to see it do well. I want to see people enjoy it the way that I honestly believe it will be. I think the reception to this is going to be huge for Riot. I think it's great that, yes, they're entering the digital card game space probably like 2-3 years later than maybe you would have expected them to. But I love that they're coming out of the gate swinging with this level up mechanism, with this expedition system that looks to be really intriguing. A turn structure with attacking and defending that fits more of their League of Legends style of play. And like I said, I think this, I don't want to say this is going to be like the next big thing, but I think like League, this is going to be equally popular because Riot has a reputation for maintaining those large fan bases. So yes, pre-register to play, definitely. If you're going to pre-register to play during the next beta event, I will be, if they allow it, because they did not at the last online test. Most people could not stream or preview anything. So I will be doing coverage whenever I can of it, and I will be posting videos breaking down all the previews, all the mechanisms, in a really detailed, point-by-point, here are the facts kind of videos. But this to me, this is my Magic. So if you're familiar again with the channel, Ben covers Magic. I usually do a lot of the console games, but this is going to end up being my Magic, my stream-worthy. My daughter's stealing my Pokemon. My stream-worthy. This is going to be my stream-worthy game, and this is definitely going to be the game that that I want to share with you guys as it grows, as I grow in it and play. Maybe we'll get into some ranked. Maybe we'll do some Tiger's Den events. Maybe Ben and I will face off. Any of those things are possible. All of those things are exciting. And yeah, I 100% am excited for this. I hope you guys are too. Thank you for joining me for this like small discussion. Ben brought this up to me yesterday, and I thought, you know what? I would really like to talk about that game. I would really like to get into the thick of it, and I think, yes, at this point, I would like to commit to start covering Legends of Runeterra, because this is, like I said, a game I think is going to be on the rise. So by all means, if you guys are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit the like on the video. It really helps us out, it helps us grow our very tiny but growing community. And if you're into video games, like I said, we do cover a variety of them outside of Magic, so please consider supporting us. Thank you guys so much. I've been Chris, this has been the Tiger's Den, and you guys have been great. If you have any questions, be sure to also drop them in the comment section below. I'd love to engage with you on this subject. Thanks, guys.